The crystalline spires of New Arcturus gleamed under the light of 3 suns, a testament to the hegemony's absolute dominion over the galaxy. For 73 standard cycles, the combined forces of 12 alien species had ruled with iron efficiency, their victory over humanity complete and undisputed. The last human resistance cell had been crushed decades ago, their homeworld of Earth reduced to a mining colony, its population scattered across prison worlds or pressed into servitude. Commander Zekthor of the Viridian High Command stood before the massive observation deck of the orbital fortress, watching cargo ships ferry rare minerals from Earth's scarred surface. His chitinous exoskeleton gleamed with ceremonial markings of conquest, each groove telling the story of humanity's defeat. The humans had been formidable once, unpredictable, adaptable, dangerously creative, but even their legendary stubbornness had eventually broken under the hegemony's overwhelming technological superiority. "Sir," his aide, a serpentine Kythera, slithered forward. "The final human facility on Kepler 442b has gone silent. Should we investigate?" Zekthor's mandibles clicked dismissively. "Probably another power failure. These primitive installations barely function. Send a maintenance crew when convenient." What they didn't know was that the silence from Kepler 442b wasn't due to mechanical failure. Deep within the abandoned research facility, past layers of corroded blast doors and forgotten security systems, something stirred in the depths of Sub-Level 9. Dr. Elena Vasquez's eyes snapped open inside the cryogenic pod, her body jolting as ancient systems pumped stimulants into her bloodstream. Warning lights bathed the chamber in hellish red as emergency. Protocols activated after 7 decades of dormancy. She gasped, her breath forming clouds in the frigid air as the pod's lid hissed open. The facility around her was a tomb of shadows and decay. Dust motes danced in the emergency lighting as she stumbled from the pod, her muscles screaming in protest. Memory flooded back in waves. The final evacuation, the last desperate gambit, the choice to remain behind when everyone else fled to fight the hopeless war. She was the last guardian of Project Prometheus. Elena's bare feet slapped against cold metal as she navigated corridors she knew by heart, past laboratories where humanity's greatest minds had once worked in frantic desperation. She reached the central core, where banks of quantum computers hummed with patient, endless calculation. The AI that had been her partner for 5 years before the war's end materialized as a hologram, an elderly man with kind eyes that had watched civilizations rise and fall. "Hello, Elena," Atlas said, his voice carrying the weight of decades. "You've been asleep for 73 years? 4 months, and 16 days. The war," she asked, though she already knew. "Lost. Earth fell 47 years ago. The hegemony believes humanity is broken." The AI's expression grew calculating. "They are incorrect." Elena moved to the central console, her fingers dancing across controls that felt both foreign and familiar. "Show me what you've been working on." The chamber transformed as holographic displays erupted around them, showing star charts, tactical analyses, and technological schematics that hurt to look at directly. Atlas had not been idle during the long decades. He had been learning, adapting, evolving. Every hegemony communication he had intercepted, every technological advancement they had made, every tactical doctrine they had employed, all of it had been absorbed, analyzed, and countered. They rule through technological superiority and unified command structure, Atlas explained as data streams flowed around them. But they have grown complacent. They fight like a machine, efficient, predictable, logical. They have forgotten what made humans dangerous. Elena smiled grimly as she began inputting authorization codes that only she knew. Our unpredictability, among other things. The facility shuddered as hidden systems came online for the first time in 70 years. Deep beneath the planet's surface, automated factories began producing technologies that the hegemony had never encountered. Weapons that didn't follow conventional physics, ships that moved like living things, AIs that thought like poets and warriors rather than calculators. But more than that, Elena activated something the aliens had never understood about humanity: the network. Across the galaxy, in hidden bunkers, and forgotten installations, in the depths of slave colonies and prison worlds, dormant systems awakened. The message was simple, transmitted on frequencies that piggybacked on the hegemony's own communication networks. This is Prometheus. The real war begins now. On Earth, a maintenance worker's tools suddenly displayed targeting data for the orbital weapons platforms above. On Kepler 186c, mining equipment spontaneously reconfigured itself into weapons of liberation. In the asteroid belt of Tau Ceti, automated drones that had been dormant for decades began seeking targets among the hegemony fleet. But the real shock came from the humans themselves. The hegemony had spent 70 years studying human prisoners, analyzing their behavior, cataloging their capabilities. They had seen broken spirits, defeated soldiers, scattered civilians. What they had failed to understand was that humans were excellent actors when survival depended on it. Commander Zekthor's first indication that something was wrong came when every human worker in his sector simultaneously stopped what they were doing and looked up at the sky. Then the explosions started. The primitive mining equipment carved through shield generators like paper. The broken humans moved with military precision that spoke of decades of hidden training. The obsolete human technology revealed capabilities that made hegemony sensors scream in confusion. Elena stood in the heart of Prometheus base as reports flooded in from across the galaxy. Hegemony fleets in disarray, command structures compromised, supply lines severed. All according to plans that had been 70 years in the making. They thought they had defeated humanity, she said to Atlas as she watched the galaxy burn on the tactical displays. They defeated our armies, conquered our worlds, scattered our people. But they never defeated our hope, Atlas replied. Or our patience. Elena nodded, activating the final phase of Prometheus. Across the galaxy, every human who had spent decades in apparent submission revealed their true nature. They had learned everything about their captors while appearing to be nothing more than broken slaves. They had planned, prepared, and waited for this moment. The Galactic War hadn't ended 70 years ago. It had just begun. The hegemony would learn what every enemy of humanity eventually discovered. Humans were never more dangerous than when they had nothing left to lose, and they were absolutely terrifying when they had something to fight for. The galaxy would remember why humanity's favorite word was impossible, and why they specialized in proving it wrong.